Hello everybody and welcome back to Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson, and today I have a video where I want to take you around to show you all the different cuttings that I've bought online that are still propagating or have been potted up and are flushing out, so that you can see all the different kind of rare plants that I've been out and bought from other growers who have these plants when, for the most part, where I am, you can't find them very easily in any of the plant centres or nurseries around. So I am very pleased to have got my green fingers on some of these plants, and I had a request from one of my viewers to show the plants that I have growing around my humidifier here. So this is that video for you and everyone else, so you can enjoy seeing some of the beautiful varieties of plants that you can go and buy online. Now at the moment, a lot of these plants are really expensive to buy online still, but prices will go down the more people start propagating and the more people start selling online, and the more that they come available in plant centres, garden centres and nurseries around where you live. So basically, I'm just going to get on with this. It's not going to be anything in depth because I've actually decided to not just show you these plant cuttings I have here, but a lot of the different cuttings I've bought and already potted up or have on the side, as I said here. So there's so many wonderful things to show you. So, well, let's just start from one end and go to the other. What I have to show you first here is this absolutely little beauty here. And I got this as a plant that was in sphagnum moss, and when I first bought it, it had this large leaf here and this little leaf down here, and I left it in the sphagnum moss. And what I decided to do when I brought it home, because I bought this from one of my neighbours just round the corner, so I didn't have to go very far, so she knows who she is. Hello, I know you watch my videos. So now you can see how this beautiful plant is looking now. This is my beautiful Philodendron Gloriosa, and it has flushed out this beautiful big leaf up here, and recently another leaf has just popped out here, and I can tell you with this plant, when it starts throwing out leaves, they come out really quick. So that is doing really well, and what I did was I decided to actually pot it up in soil directly, moist soil, put it in a plastic bag, and I put it on the floor next to a grow light. And while it was in that plastic bag, it grew this leaf, and that leaf started getting too big to be in the bag. So I decided to take it out, put it up next to my humidifier, and there's a light, an LED light shining down towards it there. And since it has flushed out this whole new leaf. So I am so pleased with this plant here. So next to that beautiful Philodendron Gloriosa, I have this cutting here, and I'm just going to take it out to show you, even though I really have to be careful doing this. This is my beautiful Philodendron Variegata cutting, and again I bought this from my neighbour, and look at the roots growing out on that, aren't they beautiful? So they're starting to get these extra auxiliary roots growing out now. This extra petiole here has started coming out because I cut this stem here, but it had a node, so I decided, there's my chance to get two plants out of this, so that I have double the amount of chance of getting this plant to really flush out and work for me. I left this long piece of stem just for now. I didn't want to get any root down. You can see the end just dried out. I didn't want to get any root down near the rest of the bottom here where all the other nodes were growing out and have produced these beautiful roots now. So I can see this is very happy, this plant. There you go. Look at that beautiful leaf. That is Philodendron Variegata. And I'm just going to show you the other part. Put these roots back gently in the water. So that is ready to be planted soon. So there'll be a video coming up about that. So keep your eyes peeled. Beside here, I have in this glass, the top part of that stem that I took out because it had nodes. And there you go, look at that. It produced a beautiful root. And there's another one coming out, and there are plenty more nodes to get roots on this. And that leaf is in its sheath, ready to come out when this plant gets potted on. So that is a success. I got from the one plant that I bought online, two in the end. How fantastic is that? Now, in the same glass, I have another little bit of stem here. Isn't that interesting? Now you can see there's a root growing out of that node, and there are 2 more nodes that could grow roots on this stem, this little tiny piece of stem. And well, you can't see what it is at all, but I'm going to show you the other part of the plant so you can see that I got 2 plants from one that I bought online again because I cut it into 2 pieces. I just want to put this one back as well, gently. And put that back behind over here. Being careful with my beautiful Gloriosa leaf that needs to turn around towards the light, like that. So that piece I pruned off another plant, and that is this beautiful one here. Oh, get this out. Now look at that beautiful leaf there. This is my beautiful Philodendron elegans. And you can see an immature leaf here that's about to grow out the longer pieces like on this one. And there's a whole new leaf coming up here. And look at all those roots. It's doing really well. Lots of roots coming out. So on the bottom of this piece, there was an extra piece of the stem that had nodes on it. So I decided to prune that piece off and just put it in the water and see what happens, and it started to grow roots. So now I have 2 examples of this beautiful Philodendron elegans as well. So I'll put that back in its beautiful vase for now, propagation vase. And soon that is also going to have to be potted up, and I can't wait. So in front of that, I have a beautiful Syngonium podophyllum Variegata. And it's got a little bit of browning on the end of the white variegation here. And that happens in these white variegations, especially in a situation where there maybe isn't enough light because it hasn't got that much chlorophyll in it and it is not really supplying the plant with much nutrients. It's more of the green here where it can photosynthesize better that is helping the plant. And I can see there's a little tiny leaf node down here. But down there, there's a beautiful little leaf node and a new leaf on its way up. So that's really nice too. So that is here on top of the humidifier. And that is on the middle of my humidifier because one of the plants that I do not do well with and I can't seem to keep alive and I'm having a really hard time with, and it feels strange because all I ever see are videos of these plants being so easy to look after, are Syngonium podophyllums. My Syngonium podophyllums white butterflies that I have both here in my apartment and at Crystal Cottage, kaput. They are just not doing well for me. They brown, they just mush up, they wilt, I let them dry, I water them, I do whatever I can to keep them alive, not working. I put them in my terrarium now, not working. I've put my Syngonium podophyllum Pink Illusion in the terrarium as well now because it started browning. And at the moment it seems to be doing okay, so I'm crossing my fingers. And I've also put my Syngonium podophyllum Cream Illusions in my terrarium and they seem to be doing really well in there. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to keep some Syngonium podophyllums because this one is starting to brown a little bit, but I've had it a while and it's doing quite well. And another leaf is on the way out now, so I'm crossing my fingers that that is going to do okay too here. Right, next cuttings I have going on here because you can see my Garter mosaica. This is my Garter mosaica. It's not a cutting, it's just here by the humidifier to help keep it green. And at the back, now I'm just going to take a leaf out because I have a few. So this is just one leaf cutting of my absolutely beautiful and one of those plants I really, really wanted for a long time because these leaves get huge and they're beautiful. This is the Philodendron melanacea, and I bought it as quite a big piece with many leaves on it on one stem. And I could see along the stem there were leaf nodes coming out in different areas so that I could go in and prune this into separate segments and make more plants to have more chance of getting at least one of this plant. And if I got more, I would be able to put more in a pot and grow them vining thicker and bushier than just having one stem. So this is the beautiful Philodendron melanacea. And look at that leaf. It's bigger than my hand already, just this little cutting. And if you look at the bottom, look at that. There is a lovely root coming out of that node. There's another one coming out of the other node. And it is doing well. Look at the back of the leaf. It is doing beautifully. So it's just taken a little bit of time for these roots to come out. It's been in the water now for a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, but I don't mind, I can wait. This will soon be ready to be planted into a pot along with the others. I'm just going to get one of the other ones out now to show you. Look at those 2 leaves by my head, aren't they gorgeous? Oh, they're doing so well. And look underneath those leaves, roots coming out of both of them. So these 2 pieces that I cut, you can see in the middle, I got 2 plants out of this. So I'll put those back gently because they're doing so well and I don't want anything to happen to them. It's not long now and I'll be able to pop those out as well. I just want to show you the other 2 that I have that I cut off the same cutting that I got from one of my neighbours again. Hello. And made 4 plants out of one that I bought. Where is the other one? Where's the other one? What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other one is the smaller one, so it's hiding here in a glass jar. That's why I couldn't find it. This was the very top piece of the plant that I cut, and it has, in the meantime, in this propagation vase, grown a new leaf, and the roots on this are... I'm not going to take it out because it's too delicate. The roots on this one, I have to go a bit more back because of the light ring, but the roots on this one are all the way down to here. So that is a beautiful little plant. So that's 3 I got from one cutting that I bought from somebody. It's hard for me to find them all because I have them all different places, but I have one more. I thought I had 5, but I have 4. So I have this last one, or maybe I have got 5, maybe I just don't know where it is right now. But so I have at least 4 of this beautiful Philodendron melanacea. This also has a lovely little new leaf that came out. And this one also, look at that, has beautiful roots and a little leaf coming out. So that is 4 plants from one cutting that I bought from my neighbour. And I thank you, my neighbour, very, very much because I'm so happy for these. I'm going to make myself a lovely bushy vining plant out of these. So that was most of the cuttings, but I have one more. I can't move it because it's too big, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it's this leaf here. I don't know if you can see that. I really hope you can see it. It's so much bigger than my hand. It's enormous. I mean, it really is enormous, this leaf. This is the beautiful Philodendron Florida Ghost. And this is also very difficult to get hold of here, where I live in Sweden. And especially in that size. That leaf is enormous. She's not putting out any more at the moment. I can't see any more growth. But it doesn't matter. She's doing well in this pot, and I have done a video on potting her up, so you can see that. But this leaf is still doing great, and I just hope she's going to flush out, because I know that all these Philodendron pedatums, they do really well. Once they get established, they grow fast. So this is a Philodendron pedatum Florida Ghost. And on the side here, just because you can see the stem, that is my Monstera staniana Albo Variegata. That is, I mean, it has raced up my ceiling and it's going to be climbing along soon. I'm actually going to propagate the top because I just want it growing up and down the pole. There are other vines coming out. So that plant is doing really, really well. Behind me, you can see my beautiful, high and wonderful Scindapsus pictus exotica that is also pushing out and growing crazy, fantastically at the moment. And by the side of me here, you can see my absolutely beautiful and elegant Epipremnum aureum golden that is also racing up and along the walls. Yes, but now, because one of my viewers asked me to show all these cuttings, now I've shown you them before I'm going to make my repotting videos and so forth. Now you see some of the things I have. I also want to show you some of those that I've already potted up, and some of them are doing well, Some of them are flushed out a new leaf. Some of them are failing and not doing so well at all. I want to show you everything because the reality of it is not everything you get is going to survive. Many things you get in the post can die, can fail. They go into shock. They can't take the stress of the travel and then being repotted or put into water, your environment, your light, the heat. All sorts of factors affect how your cuttings are going to survive. Many go into shock, many die. Many lose leaves when they first come, but then you should still leave the cutting. If it has roots and needs to be repotted straight away, leave that cutting in the pot and carry on as normal. You know, water it as you would normally do, put it by the light where you normally would and things like that. And you could be surprised and it could flush out again, even if it disappears. And I have some examples of that I want to show you, as well as this mix. So let me just get on with this as well. This is a beautiful little cutting I got online. This is a beautiful little Philodendron Branti Anam. And for me, the original leaves, this is a new leaf actually, and that was the original leaf. It has a little shoot here that was on the way out, or is on the way out, but it seems like it's browned and died off. I'm not sure. But it hasn't done much since I've had it. I've had it over a month and it's just been sitting there and not doing much, but it hasn't died. And well, it might have browned off a little bit, but I think it's going to bounce back. I've recently just moved it, so I have it closer to a grow light and away from the window. Maybe it doesn't like any kind of coolness coming from the window. So I've brought it back into the room and close to a grow light. And it seems to have got, like, it looks healthier in its leaves. So I think it's happy with that. So that was the Philodendron Brantanium. Next I have this little cutting that I bought online. It was in a little tiny pot. When it arrived, it was very dry. It had two big leaves. One browned off and died. I thought that was going to happen with this one, but it hasn't. It's actually grown bigger and it has a little shoot of a new leaf. You probably can't see it because it's so small, but there's a little shoot of a new leaf coming out there. And this is actually sitting up on my windowsill and doing fine there. She's actually turned her leaf towards the window. So I think she's going to do okay. So that is my tiny little cutting of a Philodendron painted lady. Next I have this wonderful beauty here. This is a Philodendron solderroyanum, and when I got it, it had a couple of leaves, especially this one was one of those that was a bit damaged. And since then, I think it's grown out a couple of leaves. In fact, it has, because I can see this one here. That one is a new leaf, and there's a new leaf unfurling here as we speak. So this Philodendron solderroyanum is actually doing well for me as well. I potted it up as soon as it came home because it had roots and left it. It is also sitting on my windowsill, so getting the light from outside, and it seems to be doing really well. I love the fact that I can see now close up that there's a lovely new little leaf coming out there. So look at those leaves. Beautiful Philodendron solderroyanum. So this little beauty I have here is a plant that I lost when I got it because I didn't realize what it was because it was so small and it didn't have the variegations in the leaves that I was expecting when it should arrive. But it's so tiny, it's a little baby, but it's doing so well. This is my Philodendron Burley Marks Variegata. And if you can see here, it has flushed out for me a whole new leaf. And it has 1, 2, 3 more. So it is also very happy. Now this plant was also by my windowsill. I was a bit worried about it because it seems very tender and very small and delicate, and there is a little bit of variegation in the leaf coming. And I was worried about it. I just didn't think it was going to take off, but it has. It's grown me a whole new leaf now here, and I can see there are signs of maybe another one coming. They're coming out so small. This plant is also living on my windowsill, getting the light from outside and the light surrounding the room, and it seems to be doing quite okay. So I'm just leaving it alone and letting it do its thing. So that is the Philodendron Burley Marks Variegata. So I have a little plant here that has become half failure, half okay, and I'm crossing my fingers it's going to be all the way okay soon. So I'm giving it loving energy and I'm just wishing it well because we're on the last leaf now. This is the beautiful Philodendron White Princess I bought online, and it was very badly packed when it arrived. When it arrived, it had fallen out of its pot, the soil was everywhere, it was just thrown around in the box on the way, basically. And it had, I think, 3 or 4 beautiful leaves around this size. I had no choice but to pot it up. I have a video of this as well. Pot it up and see what happens. And basically, now we're a couple of weeks later, 3 leaves have fallen off, or however amount of leaves that were on this have fallen off. And this is the last one. It's very weak. It's very flat and droopy, but it hasn't browned, it hasn't yellowed, and it's still hanging on. And if you look, now again, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this clearly. If you look here, it is actually flushing out a new leaf on this stem here. So I'm hoping that this part of this plant is going to be able to recover, rejuvenate, and become another beautiful Philodendron White Princess for me. So I am just leaving her to do her thing because I think she's going to recover and make it. But this is also to show you, you could get a plant online and you could think it's starting to fail. But don't give up. Keep that plant. Even if this leaf yellows and wilts off, I will keep this pot with the root ball in here for a good while. Because all of a sudden, when you least expect it, a whole new shoot could come out of that. When the roots have settled in, grown out new roots, spread out, and got the energy it needs, then it will throw up a new stem. So always, if everything disappears, keep that pot for a while. You just never know. You just never know. So anyway, that is the beautiful Philodendron White Princess. Now, the next one I have to show you has become an absolute fail. This is the Philodendron Variegata. And when I got this in the post, the plant was magnificent. And you can go back and see that in one of my plant unboxing videos. It was magnificent. I think it had 3, 4 huge, or maybe more, huge, beautiful leaves on it. One of the leaves got a hole in it because it had a little stick that went straight through the leaf under transportation. So that damaged that leaf. And I had to pot it and I put it on the side on the windowsill. The day after, all the leaves had wilted completely. This plant got totally stressed in the post. So all the leaves wilted, and every day a leaf turned yellow and fell off until there was nothing left. I had just the stem left. And I thought, you know what? It has really had a rough time in the postage. It really hasn't liked being moved from wherever it was. It's gone into total shock, and I don't know if it's going to recover. So I just left this stem like this in the pot. And recently I was thinking, wow, this plant is starting to recover. It's starting to make its way back, and it threw out a little leaf here and another one here. After everything it had been through, it tried to make a comeback. But since then, the one leaf has completely dried out and the other one is on the way. It's green. It is green, but it looks like it's on its way to dry out again. So this plant has still not found its feet yet. And I am just going to leave it in this pot. I'm going to leave this stem in this pot. I'm going to put it back down by a grow light, and I am just going to leave it and water it as normal. Let it dry out, water it as normal, and see what happens. Because I can see that it has viable roots, this plant, because it flushed out this new growth after everything disappeared. But now it's struggling again. For some reason, I'm not sure. If any of you maybe know, let me know what I can maybe do different. I would really like to save this plant. And what I've discovered and what I've seen from other people as well is These Philodendron Variegata do not like to be moved. Once you've found a good spot for your plant, leave it in that spot. And if you're going to be selling one of these plants, hopefully someone around where you live can buy it, because if it's sent in the post, most of the videos I've seen of people that have had this plant sent in the post and so forth, this is a difficult plant to buy online. This is a difficult plant to keep alive unless you have absolutely perfect conditions, indirect light, lots and lots of humidity. It's difficult until it gets established, I suppose. I suppose people that have established plants have a wonderful and easy time with them. But this, for me, at the moment, is classed as a fail, trying to recover. Philodendron Variegata. Now, I want to go back to a success story, because this is a beautiful Philodendron A Tobacco NC, and it is doing so well. I bought this online. It arrived like this beautifully. Its leaves have actually got a little bit bigger already. Look at those leaves. Oh, absolutely beautiful. So this plant, actually, for me, I was so worried about if it would be a success because it came so beautifully, and I'm like, okay, that is a very rare plant, Philodendron A Tobacco NC. It's probably going to crash, it's probably going to die back and not do well. But you know what? This plant is doing great for me. Potted it up, and it has grown me a whole new leaf. I see now, because I haven't looked at it so closely for a long time because I have it on a shelf. Just been leaving it to do its thing and watering it now and again. But it's thrown out a whole new leaf, and there's another one on the way. So it's a complete and utter and wonderful success story. And I don't know, I can't lift up these plants too much because I have lecker balls in every single one at the top. But if you look here, look at that. That's a whole new leaf. And next to it down here in the middle is a little leaf shoot coming out. So that's a whole new leaf. And these leaves were on this plant, and it looks gorgeous. And I love it. And I'm so happy and proud of it. And it's on the shelf, and I want those leaves to get longer and longer and longer. And I want it to bush out and look beautiful. These get long leaves, and I just can't wait for this little baby to grow up more. My beautiful Philodendron A Tobacco NC. So I have another little cutting that I bought online that seems to be doing very well for me. Very well indeed. It has grown out a few new leaves, and when the leaves come out, they come out this lovely light green colour before turning a little darker. And there's a whole new leaf coming out here, as you can see in the middle. And this is a new leaf since I've had this plant. This one and this one, I think. This is the beautiful Philodendron Moonlight. Oh, it's just wonderful. That is one of my absolutely amazing success stories of a cutting that was sent to me through the post. Philodendron Moonlight. So right after that, I want to show you another beautiful cutting that I got in the post that is also doing fine, but this one has been a little bit up and down. It got one leaf around this size that turned completely yellow, and I've recently had to prune that off. And apart from that, I can see now when I look down inside that it has a new leaf on the way up to replace the one that I had to just prune off. And these leaves are all doing fine. It was a little bit battered and bruised on the journey home, so it's got a little bit of marks on the leaves, but that is nature, and it looks beautiful. So this is the beautiful Philodendron Imperial Green. Now, isn't that beautiful? So it gets this lovely imperial green colour to the leaves. It's just one-toned, and it's lovely, and it gets lovely big leaves. So this is still a little baby, so the leaves are going to get much bigger, and as I said, I can see a leaf coming out of this stem here. So I know that this plant has finally found its feet after wilting and yellowing one leaf. The rest is doing brilliantly, and a new leaf is coming out. So I'm really happy about that. I'm actually really happy I'm doing this video because I haven't looked at all these cuttings close up for a long time because I have so many of them that I've just got them around and about, and they're just doing their thing. All I do is water them and look if anything turns yellow and clip those bits off. But apart from that, I can see my plants are really happy. So this Philodendron Imperial Green is doing really well for me. So now I have another little cutting I also bought online, and this is very small. It had two larger leaves. One has yellowed off and died, so I had to prune that off. The other one here is doing okay, and in the middle at the bottom there are two tiny leaves hiding in amongst all these leca balls that are still doing okay. So I'm expecting this plant at some point to be able to take off very well. I've actually recently put it down by a grow light to give it that extra boost of energy to be able to grow out the rest of the leaves in the middle. Look at the leaf, isn't it beautiful? This is a beautiful Philodendron Martianum Fat Boy Yellow. Look at that leaf. And I don't know if you can see down in the middle, but there are baby leaves, as I said, hiding in all of those leca balls. Oh, yeah, you can see them. There's the baby leaves hiding in the leca balls down there. So this plant is actually doing a-okay as well in this pot. Slightly yellowing as I see, but you know, it is called Fat Boy Yellow, so maybe it's supposed to be a little bit like that. But this is the beautiful Philodendron Martianum Fat Boy Yellow. Now, this next one I'm going to show you, before I turn it around, I am a little bit upset. This plant came in the post beautifully. It's done very well for the longest time. It's started to fail a little bit, but at the same time, it's not, you know, gone, but it's starting to fail. This is my Philodendron Pink Princess that is no longer pink. Now, I have a lovely leaf here that isn't variegated, and a lovely leaf here also. There's a little new leaf down the bottom that has some pink variegation, but this one came in and it was beautifully pink. You will see in one of my plant unboxing videos, it was beautifully pink, and this one too. But where the leaves are variegated with the pink, they've completely turned brown and they're getting very soft, and basically these leaves are failing and they're going to have to be pruned off very soon. This one too, I'm leaving them on for now so that the plant can get as much energy out of the chlorophyll in the good side for as long as possible. But other than that, well, my pink variegation has just disappeared. Look at that closer. You can see all the pink variegation has turned brown. You can see under the leaf more of the variegation. Another thing that's showing me she's starting to fail is that her beautiful new leaf that was coming out at the top looks like it's turning brown. And I think the growth has ceased and that leaf is just going to brown off and die. And I'm wondering what happened. Yeah, it seems like I've lost that leaf as well. So she's browning off on some of her leaves, and well, I won't give up. The roots are still viable in this plant. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a new leaf coming out down here that is beautiful. So either it's set off an offshoot or she's rebalancing herself out in some way. Oh, and as I'm speaking, I'm actually a little bit happier again because, funny enough, even though there's a sheath there with this little leaf, looks like there's a big sheath here with another leaf tip. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's going to be a new leaf or anything, but it looks like it could be. There's a whole leaf sheath here pushing through. Unless that is part of that leaf. No, it doesn't look like it because there's a small tip here for this one and then there's a longer one there. Well, you know what? I'll just let her do her thing and hope that she bounces back. So that is my half failing, half okay Philodendron Pink Princess. So the next plant I have to show you here is a plant that I got from one of my neighbours. Hello neighbour, you know who you are. Thank you very much for this wonderful cutting that I could purchase from you. Now, this is the unnamed Philodendron 69686. And if you go online, you will see the most beautiful pictures of this plant's leaves. These are juvenile leaves, very juvenile leaves, because these leaves get a long fork at the back and a long pointed stem at the front, and they are just really different and really beautiful to see when they're mature. So here you are looking at the immature leaves on this Philodendron 69686. And in this pot, I have resting a lovely milky quartz crystal at the same time because I thought that looked really nice here to help this plant. Now, I bought this plant as a bigger cutting than this. This plant already had nodes and roots in different areas on the stem, so I decided to pot those up as well and see if I couldn't get me more plants. And well, that has been a raging success. So let me get the other pots and show you. So this is the second pot I have of the Philodendron 69686, as it's known at the moment. Again, very immature leaves. It doesn't have the forks and the points of the adult plant, but this plant seems to be very robust and does very well as cuttings as well, because if you look at this one that I split from the other pot, it has grown me out a lovely new leaf bud. A lovely new baby leaf coming out down here in the middle, you can see, I think. There you go. So I had these two leaves and now I have a third one coming out just down there. And I am so happy about that. So that split of this cutting I bought from my neighbour has worked out really well. So that's two fantastic viable plants that I have going on here. So I know at least I will have at least one that is going to survive to adulthood, if not all three. So let me show you the last piece. So this is my last piece of the Philodendron 69686 that I got from my neighbour. And this was the main stem, the root that was still in the pot. And basically I cut that stem and I took the two cuttings that you just saw. And the stem now has produced two new leaves for me. So look here at the bottom. Isn't that fantastic? Two new baby leaves coming out of the main stem that was left in the original pot. So now I have three viable Philodendron 69686, and I'm so happy about that because this is one of those rare plants that isn't just available anywhere out there right now. So I'm so pleased that I have these and that they're doing so well for me. So finally, we have got to the end of most of my cuttings that I have bought online and either got in the post or collected myself from a neighbour. And I just want to put a shout out to my closest neighbours here that have plants that are absolutely wonderful, that write to me and ask if I want to buy their plants before they post them online. And also watch my videos and have subscribed to my YouTube videos and helping to support me and to grow my channel. Thank you very, very much. I just think you're great. And I love the plants that I've been able to purchase from you. And I love all your messages and comments and the interaction. Thank you very much indeed. So now I just want to get to the last cuttings that I bought online and are doing well. So now I've got something really beautiful for you here. This plant is extremely rare where I live in Sweden at the moment. It's very hard to source, but I found someone online who was selling cuttings and I bid on this plant and I just went all the way and I got it. I won. I had to have an example of this beautiful plant because I can tell you what, I am a fan of the Monstera Spur Peru. I love that plant. I love the leaves. They're huge. On my plant, they're deep green. They've got deep divots, huge veining. They're just beautiful leaves. And mine has grown up its totem like nobody's business, over 2 meters tall in a very short space of time. Nearly every week I'm having to tie in a new piece of the vine or the tendril that is going up, and it is amazing. So leaves are starting to come out on it as well. So I'm really happy about that. So I had to go and get me this plant. This is the amazing Monstera, Spur, Peru, Alba Variegata. And look at this. Look at those leaves. Aren't they amazing? Look at that leaf. The variegation is just beautiful. Look. Look at that. The variegation is just amazing. I was so pleased to get myself an example of this plant, and it came just bare rooted, and I potted it up straight away, and it is looking fine, except I'm getting a bit of browning and drying on the yellow variegation of this leaf, which is very variegated with the yellow, and the other one is more yellow and green. So there's a lot more chlorophyll in this leaf than this leaf, but it's got all the same texture and qualities of the Monstera Spur Peru, but just the variegations, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I hope that this is going to flush me out a new leaf and carry on so I can get this beautiful plant vining up as well as my other plants are. Now, isn't that just absolutely beautiful? I am in love. So I hope this is going to carry on being a success for me, despite this little bit of drying down here. That's okay. This is nature we're talking about. Remember, that leaf is still absolutely beautiful and viable. And I just as I'm talking to you, I can actually see a new leaf coming up in the pot. It's so small you won't be able to see it because it's down in the leckables. But I can see a little leaf coming up. I didn't know before now. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Oh, I was so worried about if this is going to take off or not, because I don't have any experience with the variegated variety at all and how tough it will be to keep it going. But it is growing a new leaf, and I didn't know until now, live on camera, and I'm so excited. This is what I get like when I discover something new. Oh, my energy has just gone up. It's just boosted now. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. That is brilliant. So I will get a bigger, beautiful plant because it's already starting now, giving me a new leaf. And this plant is sitting on my windowsill and doing its thing, and it's doing its thing. That is so great. Oh, I am so happy. Right, anyway, we better get on to the next plant because this video is getting too long and I've got too many plants to show you and I'm not going to be able to fit them all in, I don't think. One more and then that's it. Oh dear, yeah. So this one is a little bit heavier. This is my beautiful Monstera deliciosa variety Alba Borsigiana. And I bought this one leaf online, and this one leaf here I was given by a friend that I decided to pot in with this one that I bought online. And the one that I bought online has flushed out a new stem and a new leaf is on the way. So I am so excited about this. This is amazing. This is amazing. Now look at that little stem coming out there with the leaf that will soon be coming out. And I really hope it has this beautiful variegation going on, the same as the rest of the plant, and that I am going to have a lovely, healthy, big plant when this plant suddenly starts racing off and doing really well. I mean, look at that. That is one beautiful, viable stem coming out there. I am so pleased about that. And, well, I have 3 pots now with this absolutely wonderful Monstera deliciosa variety Alba Borsigiana. And they are doing well, the other 2 pots too. But I haven't seen new growth on them like this yet, but they were more advanced anyway with more leaves on them. So they are settling down still. But this one, just one leaf cutting with one node on it that I bought online, is now, after just a couple of months, maximum 2 months, flushing out a new stem and a new leaf. That is just beautiful and that is just amazing. So now, I am finished with my little cuttings tour in my indoor terrace garden of all the different plants that I have found that are much rarer and harder to find in any stores. Thus, you have to go online and find someone who is selling cuttings or sourcing them. And I got myself some amazing plants. And to my great relief, most of them are doing really well and flushing out new little leaves, as you saw. I mean, look at this plant, giving me a whole new stem here. That is just brilliant. And that has happened with so many of them. And the ones that are struggling, I hope they're going to make it and pull through so that they start flushing out again. And then everyone will be a success. So all I'd like to say is if you have any comments or questions, please write them below. I'd love to hear from you and hear what you have to say. I'd love to hear about your propagations and any ideas you may have that you think I could try, and any other ideas that you maybe want to share with others as well as me below. Please don't hesitate to write to everyone else. It doesn't just have to be to me. I just want my videos to be a platform for everyone and everyone to write to each other. That is absolutely fine and will be wonderful. So all that's left for me to say now is thank you very much once again for watching Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be uploaded. And I will see you in another video very, very soon. Thank you very much and goodbye.